So the first step to getting this tank off is to remove the fuel tank cover. It has these little plastic trim pieces, and the way you get those off is you push down in the center here with a screwdriver. And if you're good, you can grab it with your fingernails, but sometimes it's hard. So I just use a little pick and I carefully get under here. Try not to scratch stuff. So that's how those come out. The way it works is when you go to put it back in, you push this back up. Push it back up like that. And that releases this part. Put it in. Make sure it's all the way down and then push this down. There, now it's installed. To get it back out, you push that and grab it. So there's 4 of those. I already took this one out. There's one here. And up off the front. There's one there. Right there. And then on the other side, there's one in here. So once you get that off, banging the tripod, sorry. This just comes off now. There's your 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, it's a very similar thing. I've already loosened all this stuff up, so this was a screw I just undid with a 4mm hex key. And then back over here, there are, sorry about the weird angle. There they are. There's one down here. And one here. Now I can pull this off. You can see right in there, it comes right here. There's a press fit. It'll just click in. This clicks into that hole. And you just push hard and it'll click in, and to get it off, you pull straight out. So you do that on both sides. And then there's just this bolt here. I've already loosened it. Screw this. There's one on exactly like that on the other side. And then over here, I've already loosened these, so there's 2 here. Take these out. You'll see in the continuation of this video, I just kind of left this one in here and loosened it slightly. That way I could pivot and put the piece of wood under here. So once you remove this piece, there's one last thing you need to do. Well, I don't know if it's the last, but it's somewhere in the middle of the process. So this little piece of rubber trim here, you basically undo it right here. There's a hole. You pull this out like that. You can see that there's a little hole there. Right there, which goes onto this. And then there's 2 little tabs. I've already pulled this piece out before. Let's see. So these little tabs, there's one there and one there, and those go in these little holes, which, get some reference here. There you go. There and there. Once you get those loose, you can just pull the piece off. It just comes off like that. There's the two holes and the tab. So when you go to put it back on, that'll go in there. The tabs will go in there. So I removed these two bolts and propped it up with a piece of wood after lightly loosening these two on each side so it could pivot. If you look up underneath here, you'll see right there's the fuel hose coming in and a wiring connector. Looks like the fuel hose kind of wraps around and goes back. There, and it goes back in there somewhere. And this electrical connector goes up here and onto there. And then you got these drain hoses coming up here. And then you'll see them on the other side of this frame. Right there. And then you can see they connect up under the tank. Other than that, there's a wire coming across. That's the one that goes to the electrical connector. So to remove this electrical connector there, I'm going to have to push on this one tab. Right. There. So let's see if I can squeeze there and get it off. Anyway, squeeze there and pull down. So I have the fuel hose disconnected. I'm going to make a little video about how it works. So last night I couldn't figure out how to get this off because I was squeezing super hard with my fingers on these blue tabs, and my thumb and finger are too big and I couldn't pinch it. So I went to bed. First rule of mechanics is always never force anything, just come back later. So anyway, I had this old tool left over from a bike repair, which I think they sell something similar, but you can see it just has these hooks, and I was able to grab it like this and squeeze, and it came right off super easy. So if you look in here, you can see how it releases the blue part to get over the hump on the place where it mounts. So before you start, the little orange clip looks like that. You slide it up like this. So that would be locked, and that would be unlocked. Anyway, I can't squeeze these in with my fingers. I had to use that tool I showed you. So I just made up some labels left and right for these two hoses. I'm not sure if it matters, but I'm not going to worry about it just by labeling them. You can already see I labeled the left one. Oops, just dropped my light. And the right one, I'm just going to label right up there. That's the right one, that's the left one. Now that I got my two hoses labeled left and right, I'm going to reach up under here and squeeze those two clips right there. I'm just going to try to squeeze them with my fingers. See if they come off. Anyways, squeeze them and pull down on the hoses. So I got the two hose clamps squeezed. Those just squeeze and then they come down, but I couldn't get them loose up here. I didn't want to rip them. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to unclip them from here and then pull. I'm going to undo this clamp right here. You just lift up here. It's hard to see. You lift up on one side and lift up on the other side at the same time, and then it just opens like that. Now I can get the hoses out. I can get that one out and that one out. And then I'm just going to pull them. They go up behind this frame. And you can see them. They're on the front side of this is the fuel hose coming around, which I haven't figured out how to get off quite yet. I do have this electrical connector undone, which went right up there. So you can see the pins. But anyway, I think I can just pull these out now. Looks like they're going in front of this wire. Just gonna pull it out. See it coming up here. I gotta make sure I get it fed back down. Let's see. It's basically just behind here. You can see it through this hole here. There's my finger. So I should be able to just keep pulling like this. Better view. Let's see. There it is. It's up underneath there. Pull this guy out. And the other one is here. It's going to kind of pull it up. You can see it coming up down here. So what I'm going to do is try to get these off later when I can get a better angle. I can barely fit my hand inside here, and I can't pull. I did try to put a little hook thing on there, but I was probably just going to cut my finger or the hose, so I gave up. I have to get a little water or something under there, some kind of a lube. See, that exposed the air box. What I did is I just set it up on this wood there and there because I didn't want to damage the fuel pump, which you can see under here probably. See, there's the fuel pump under there. So the 4 bolts holding the motorcycle tank onto the frame, the long ones go in here, like that. And then the short ones, they go over here. Obviously there's 2. So these are the 4 bolts that hold the tank onto the motorcycle. So I'm just going to put those on back in before I lose them. So one, these short, long guys go here into the frame. And the short ones go back here. And obviously this one goes on the other side. So the next job will be removing the air filter case and the ECU. Good thing we got the fuel tank off.